Okay, welcome back to Timberborn. Now, I'm sure a few of you would have noticed we have made a few slight errors. Well, not really errors, just oversights. I have a habit of forgetting some of the finer details. And I must admit again that this game and its water physics are pretty good. It's one of the reasons why I really like it. Now, we have got this bit of scrap metal over here, which I thought we could get to and put down a smelter. Now we aren't going to be able to power that, so that smelter, which actually should be on pause, is going to go. The paper mills we have set up, we're on our way to get explosives. We need some science to get that. I have unlocked the paper mills and obviously the smelter. However, we have been having a bit of an issue with water flow. 15.4 days and we're in a drought. However, when we're not in a drought, too much water's been flowing down here because we have dammed it, and we're not powering our industry appropriately. So we're going to progress. As you can see, I've got some pathways in, and hopefully, yes, we can reach that one, and we are going to put a district centre up on here. If I can reach it, maybe even up on the top here, so we can utilise this land once we release some extra water flow. Although we do want power in here, we'll blast a little bit of this out at some stage and make it too high like the rest, and put some power wheels in here for our smelters, because our mine is literally just there, and we are definitely going to be damming across here. That will bring water back to this section. So we have made a slight error in judgment. I think some of you would have definitely picked that up. So that's where we're at. We're still going to do our farming over here, but we have put that on a little bit of a pause. I have also paused our forestry work up here in an attempt to let that grow. As you can see, we've got some extra blueberries growing down in the bottom here, which is good. Make sure we can feed those pods appropriately. I may even still put a gatherer's flag just next to the district centre there to get an increased supply of blueberries. We're still slowly but surely building our large warehouse, which is what prompted the investigation as to why we don't have planks and the water wheel is not working effectively. Sorry about that. It seems that second dose of antibiotics has not quite cleared my issue. I am having a bit of a bad day. It might be that it's spring here affecting that, and the dusty work environment I work in. So yeah, we are going to endeavour to move over to this section. We may have caught ourselves out a little bit with the plank production side of things. So what we are going to do is put a pause on the large warehouse and a pause on our water tank just for now, and our gear shop, we will actually pause that as well, even though we're not far off getting that, just in order to utilise once this 15 to 16 day drought has passed, which we have to definitely keep an eye on. Just to utilise this area more effectively, and I have unlocked the singles but not the doubles. If we get the double enough for the doubles in the meantime, we will redesign this structure here. I am tempted to leave one so we can use it as a pathway across. If we build in this section and build on top, we can walk across here and put another set of steps in. Or vice versa. We will have a look at that. We may leave it for now. We can always change it at some other date. It does take more materials, which is why 2 logs, 4 planks compared to 4 logs, 4 planks. That's only 2 logs, which is why I'm not overly concerned. We've got plenty of logs, 198 of them, which is why we've also paused this logging industry at the bottom of the map here on the other side of the river. So we will progress through, and I think we will try and ride this drought out, let some production happen. Stockpiling is definitely going to be happening. We have plenty of water, plenty of food to last, and that's going to evaporate away fairly quickly. Let's pick up the speed right up, and I will keep an eye on our supplies and our water in this bottom basin in case we need to drop this floodgate down here. And while we are at it, we will pause that because I don't think we're going to end up needing it. And we don't have any infrastructure to get up there as of yet. See that, we'll pause that too. 1 log. Not a huge loss. Logs are definitely plentiful now that we have organised the 2 forests appropriately. And we will come back when we have our district centre, and I'm pretty sure we will be wanting to put it up on top of that hill there. So you see the path starts to run out, but looking at this one down here, we still have a bit to go, and even this one up here where it changes colour to red, there's still quite a stretch, so we should be able to build a set of steps up here. So we will design that, and we will look at getting this section up and running, and we'll put our district centre here. Like I said, we will send some beavers over to there. We may actually even look at, I think our next priority is going to be a distribution and a drop-off point, which we need 500 science for. So we will focus on that as our next, which we should have done in all honesty earlier, and already had it ready to go. Looking around the map, I think that where else we're going to build, we will probably end up putting our distribution centre up on top of the hill here anyway. I was considering putting it down the bottom, but I think that's just going to be too much in the way. Putting it up on the hill, they have to bring from the warehouses to it and then from it. If we distribute bottom right or bottom left in the future, that'll obviously be a little bit longer for our haulers to get stuff across, but it is sending to other districts, so I'm not overly concerned if it takes them that little bit longer to get stuff there. And having our district set up here, we can put our drop-off point probably fairly close to it, so we can utilise. I'm humming and hawing as to whether to open this up at all, to be honest. It's going to bypass our power for our industry there, and it's going to take, and even coming in this side, it's going to take away from our power industry there, unless we put it all on this side, and then we can utilise both, which could actually be the better option. We have a 2 rise there, and we might have to build some levees across here to facilitate that if we do go that way. And we will be basically using this purely for metal production, metal blocks. That was one of the oversights, apart from obviously the water physics of the game, because I've dammed this, pushing more water up the top here. The other one was Iron Teeth prefer to build out of metal rather than wood, so we won't be needing to reinforce plank factories. We'll only be needing 1, because only 1 or 2 items actually use them. Everything else is metal, and we may even use that opportunity to put in another gear factory. So we will let this run for a bit. I'll keep an eye on obviously our water usage while we get all of this section up here underway and our science, and we are nearly at the point of being able to put in one of our inter-district freight components, being the distribution post. And in the meantime, I really do think it's going to be worth putting it for the one up the top. The receivables can be right next to it, and they can. It would be nice to have it over here, definitely. But it is going to be for metal production, so they are going to be building most likely in the middle or down here. We will be fixing this pathway up at some point, so we will continue to do that. And yeah, up here I think will be the best place. And while we're at it, and I remember, we will do a logging, and we'll take care of these logs, all these dead trees, so that we can build on the top. And once we will obviously clear all these dead ones up here out for now. We'll leave the bottom ones for a little bit, because we want to be able to access across here and eventually across to the mine. In the short term, we want to be able to access the floor, and we'll run over and we will build our dams. I don't want to levy this. That is a definite do not want to do, but we do want to build dams across there. We may even, I'm tempted to, because of the height, it is a good place to build up. However, that is going to, one, diminish the water flow in this area. I think once we drop this down to 2, we will get plenty of water, and if we build that up, we will definitely have to. Although, having said that, there is a step up there, so we could definitely and for an experimental side of things, let's actually do that. We will get rid of them, and we will first of all build levees across here, and then dams on top. I think that would be the better way to go. We can have 2 lots, which means that this section here will flood, and this section, and that would actually break the barriers and force water down these other channels, which is probably something that we do not want, because that'll come all the way down and disappear. And at the moment we are not utilizing any of that area at all. The goal will be that this will be our self-sustained golem production. How's our water going? Our water is not going good, so we will let some in. So yeah, this will be, that top district rather, will be our self-sustaining golem production. And we'll have a look at trying to get it so that the golems build themselves and do all the work up the top. Then they can start coming down and doing the work down here, and then we will look at utilizing them to expand and take advantage of some of the other mines and areas on the map. We may even flood it up a second level, migrate our population, and watch all of our industry and everything we've built up here get destroyed, which shouldn't be an issue at that point of the game, and that'll be pretty much end game once we have our self-sustaining golems producing more than they are going through. That is, our workforce will not, or our beavers will not need to be our workforce. Our golems will be our workforce. So that is where we're going to get to. We got 6.5 days of drought left. we should make it through, not a problem at all. So we have our steps. That's probably the wrong place for those steps. Looking at it now, although if we do not utilize this section, then having it at the back will be the preferred, because there's only going to be room for any growing of forests over along this section and on this part, and this part will basically be all dry and remain all dry. And I think that is probably the way we want to go. Now I could of course try to get over and block it off, but alright, it's too far away. We got to build another district centre in order to get there anyway, so we might as well build our district centre up on top here. And we want to build it in such a place that we will be able to get right across to that mine and actually operate that mine. So the district centre may move from here up to this one once we have some more infrastructure in place and we get a good idea of just how far we need to go. So we could even build it on this level and perhaps even just put it there, come straight in, straight across and up one when we come across there. And we will be doing that with up and down stairs rather than platforms. We would need a platform and a stair anyway, so we will put that in. And then 1, 2 platforms, or 1, 2 stairs, so I guess it actually doesn't really matter. Platforms are 2 logs, 4 planks. Stairs are 1 log, 4 planks. It would be much of a muchness for that, so we'll... Why can't I put path in there? Come on, let me build. It is not letting me put a path on the corner here for some reason. I'm not sure why. It doesn't say that there's anything there blocking it, so we will quickly rearrange this. I shouldn't have deleted that last bit, but that's okay. And we'll put there, and we'll come across and just move it up that one. Of course, I understand now why it wasn't letting me do that. Well, that's okay. We will leave it as is. We'll delete. We'll delete this bit of path in order to put our steps in. Of course, districts need to be separated by gates, which is why that would not let me do it. One of those small oversights I was talking about earlier. And it would appear as though evaporation has drained all of our water. We have no spare in the reserve and none in the main, with 3 days to go in our drought, which means we won't get any water for 4 days. So hopefully our water is diminishing. We have 17 and everyone is only dying of old age, which is good. We have dropped a little bit in numbers, I think, from where we were. We have 2 vacancies and 2 unemployed, so as soon as we hit go on some of those paused, I think we'll be right with that. And we'll come across. We need to make sure that this one can reach these dams, so perhaps we should have done the step down. That wouldn't have worked. We wouldn't have got a path off anyway. So when we go across to the mine, or maybe we just come straight off next to it, that might be a good option in the short term. we will of course need more steps in here. And we want to get to there. And in the interim, we will, yes, because if we levy this and then dam it, the waters will overflow into those barricaded areas. So for now, we are definitely looking at dams. And they should easily be able to reach that. We are now down to 323 water. A couple of days left to go. Hopefully they manage to get through. Our numbers are dropping from old age, and our birth pods or breeding pods are still working okay. We've got 2 of them running. And no unemployed and no vacancies, which is changed even though we've lost 2 people. Interesting. And that'll be coming up shortly. Let's clear this planting area. We don't need to count that out anymore. We've still got trees to plant. They've obviously died off. Well, actually been harvested. We have plenty of logs, so we're not overly concerned about that. It's getting the production back up to get over. We should have built this a long time ago. We should probably have done this first while we had plenty of water flow and lower droughts. And still we have no one dying of anything other than old age, which is good. So it looks like we will make it through that drought. Although our food has almost dried up, and it's going to take time for these carrots to renumber themselves. So this is difficult. Being on hard mode, you need the food storage. You need the water. So we'll leave these floodgates down, and when we see a flood coming, we will lift them up. That way we'll get maximum production. I did notice that right at the end, or right as we were coming into that last drought. So unfortunately I did not want to let the water through at the time. So we'll let it go now, and we should get some production up and running, and we just have to really micromanage and keep an eye on the fact that when there's a drought on its way, we have to stop our production to put some reserve to make sure we make it through, and everyone is okay at this point. So that second gatherer's flag, which is now blueberry, because we have plenty of blueberries here, so I don't think that one flag is going to collect them all, so we could have put a second one in. We are starting to get our water back, and we will make sure that that comes up quickly, and hopefully we can get some power, which we are getting now. Excellent. And we can get some planks made, and we can get that other district, that other set of dams in, and then that will resolve the constant focus on these floodgates. It will certainly help to push more water this way, which is a good thing, because we get limited time to produce anything off of those. We really need an engine. Our 400 science, and we need metal blocks for that. So we'll consider getting one of those down the track once we have some metal, hence the reason for thinking about turning this scrap metal into metal blocks, which we could do if we sat here and constantly maintained a vigil on these floodgates. But that is something I'd rather not have to do. And you can see the fluctuation, and as we come up here you can see the tremendous water flow that is coming through the top. because of that. So we really want to get this district up and running, and we will just quickly pause it there. We are in labour, and we will unlock the distribution post, and we will indeed put that up the top here, and we will unlock the drop off point, but we will be wanting that basically right where that lumberjack flag is. If we have a look at our priorities, the steps and everything are on priority and everything else is paused, so we should be producing them at first, then that lumberjack flag, and we're down to 14 and old age, beautiful. So we have survived that 16-day drought. We are getting some production, even though it still says we have nothing. We really need to block this off as quickly as possible. That is an oversight on my part by not realizing that at the beginning of the game and making that a priority. As soon as we had this done, we should have headed over here immediately, or almost at the same time. We would be a lot closer to getting that finished. And we certainly could have got the science points that we use on our paper and smelter to get that distribution and drop-off points unlocked. So apologies for that. That has certainly delayed the game quite considerably, or the progress in the game anyway. Our forests are looking great, so as soon as we need any more logs, we will be able to get them quickly and easily. Right now we need our planks to be producing, and we already have another drought on its way. We have no other production underway, so I am not sure where these planks are going if they are not coming into here, which they should be. Oh, there we go. We have one level 1 platform ready to go. So there's going to be a few cycles before we get this side, and then a few cycles before we get the other side. And then we should be in there. Patience is definitely a requirement, as well as good notes and refreshing the memory, the mind, as to what those notes actually represent regarding how to utilize your rivers and your water to the most economically, or not economically, I can't think of the word right now, but do you know what I mean? It's the same as setting up your storage units close to where your buildings are to make sure efficiency. There we go. Using your rivers most efficiently as possible to achieve the desired result, and we need to definitely reduce the water flow down here. And damming that will certainly help to do so. With that, we could even dam up here if we so choose to push even more water to have these two on the same level, as opposed to having it fall down first. Building a dam, we'll probably actually dam up here first. That might be the preferred way to go, which will help push more water down this way, especially while these floodgates are down. And we will wait till night time, and we'll push this up. And even though there's water coming through, there is no power, so that is definitely a problem. Although we just produced another log, so that is good. And right on the 11th hour, we'll pause it and we'll adjust these two floodgates to maintain the water that is in there. You see it is flowing in quite well through the floodgate rather than the dam. So 0.3 days, we'll push that up now. That'll probably stop a lot of the water flow through here, as it has, to fill this reservoir as much as possible. And I think this time, if it's a long one, we will use all this water to begin with to fill this up so it doesn't all evaporate and disappear. That can go up, and that is flowing backwards already. Here we go. And as far as our construction has gone, well, we've got 1 of 4 planks into there and none into there, so they are building this second platform first. That's probably the second thing I put down, which is fine, we need it all anyway. And we certainly could have done a lot better with our manufacturing, our construction efforts, I think. We'll pause that. Now there's no more water coming in. And we will want to dam fairly far back, although if we put a lumberjack in here, if we do end up flooding that at some point, and that's all died off, and that's all died off. So the cheapest place to put the dam for now will be straight across here, and then we can always alter that when we get more materials and move it back. So let's we will be up at this level here already. As far as the most efficient way to, and this is going to be a 1 level dam, so it can go back there. And as far as the most efficient way to move around from area to area, you can really study that to find the most efficient routes possible, using the least amount of materials. But we're just going to put a platform and a couple of steps in there. And because we'll have water up the top, we want to keep our path probably as low as possible, and it's going to be coming off there, and then we'll duck across the back. That should do it. And a bit of a path out here just to make sure they make it. So we will be needing to transfer a decent amount of goods, I would imagine, across here. And most of the construction will be on this side. And we probably won't put housing in for these guys. We'll get them to build it and leave. So our labour and our drop-off point, that fits actually quite in there quite nicely. But I think we'll put it this side. They will be able to walk in there, and we are going to modify this section just a bit, so that our drop-off point can be right there. Of course we can't join that up, we'll join that up when we get a gate in. I want these guys to build as much of that as possible so we don't have to worry about it. And once we move beavers over, they'll just be manufacturing the other side. So we should be able to get this set of stairs built. And we'll see how much of that, well, that's actually already built, so we won't have to really worry about it too much. And if we have a look at our pathing, I am pretty sure we will get up to here. We may even get that section done prior to moving, and then it will just be a matter of prioritizing this side and this side over that end. Now we will want our power wheels to be up and running and getting some power, and we can put a double in here and we can start getting across to there, and we may even put a lumber mill in for some planks on this side. We'll need logs on this side rather than relying on this plank manufacturer here. We may even though this one here is just about ready to go, 2 logs, moving these around and putting a plank down here, but for efficiency later, I mean that'll get us more planks now. We can delete our smelter and put another plank in there and move that later. And I'm pretty sure that only takes logs, so that won't be an issue for the lumber mill. 15 logs. So actually, but let's do that and we'll get twice as many planks theoretically. So something else we could have done, sacrifice 15 logs, some building time. See, there they go, they'll go under with that right now for us. And this is another 11 days left on this drought, so we'll keep an eye on that. And do we have a worker in there? We do not. We're down to 13 and everyone is dying only of old age. So we should have plenty of food and water this time around. We obviously need to increase our food and water storage. There we go. Okay, so let's drop that down to 0, and we have no water coming through. That is a big concern. Why do we not have any water in reserve? This time around that's evaporated away before we've had a chance to use it. So we have 11 days to survive with absolutely no water. Well, that didn't quite work as expected, or as planned I should say. Perhaps we did not raise the rear floodgates quick enough to contain. The water was flowing through them rather than the dams. So that is an interesting conundrum. It's possible we should reload an old save and do a do-over and do this quicker. That would certainly be more beneficial. We'll see how we go. We'll see if we survive, and if we die, that'll be the end of Series 2. On hard. In Lakes map, we will, if that goes the way, if that goes that way, we will look at trying again on Iron Teeth on hard mode in a different map, and either mountain or terraces. I think we will have another look at the map names and choose one of them. Okay, oh dear. There is nothing anyone can do but sit and wait. Okay, we have all died of thirst. So in hindsight, we should probably have immediately built stairs up to here and put our district centre up the top and invested in levees, and you can see that's one height across there and 2 across there. Put in levees and then dams and flooded this entire section. That would have of course flooded all of this and all of this, but we would have had up here to still work with because of the fall there, and the fall there would be one, so we'd have all of this to work with as well. So I believe that is game over, and we have not succeeded. However, there is one that one may probably not, but we might get one baby kit out of this breeding pod. And with the drought very nearly over, we will see if we can resurrect our settlement. And being only me human, I'm not surprised what went the way and on demise of the humans before these beavers. We have no food and no water. Hopefully we will get a kit out of this, so we will have one. Hopefully there will be enough water left to... We will have to jimmy this one when it grows up. If it survives long enough to become an adult, of course, it may die, which will really be game over. We should have kept our numbers a little bit lower. Definitely should have kept our numbers lower to begin with, and been a little bit more patient. That has the highest priority. We will make sure that we now go and pause everything because we have more than enough science. We will pause everything else and they can get water first. The farms can be paused for now, and it will just be the water collector and the berry collector. However, all of our berry bushes have died, so we really are going to fall in a heap, I'm afraid. As soon as it grows up, we need to collect some water. Actually, as soon as it grows up, we need to plant some berries. So we'll just pause for a second. We'll turn the forester here on and we'll get our tree planting. And we will turn off all of the trees so that it is just the berries that we want planted. Actually, we won't do it there, we will do it here. And we will turn that off and see if we can get enough berries planted and have them come up quick enough. And we'll wait until he pops out again and we'll see what the biggest concern is. It's probably going to be water, so we will turn this back on just so they can get a drink. What do you want? Starving and dehydrated, so it is both. So we'll pause that. As soon as he's planted a couple of berry bushes, we will pause the forester and we will see if we can resurrect. I have to admit my hopes are not high. We can't reduce our numbers any other way than letting them go. So make sure you do not overpopulate too quickly. Those droughts definitely do spring up on you, that is for sure. So bear that in mind when you're playing on hard mode. That is quite devastating. And even the evaporation in here and the previous drought was a little bit of a surprise, I must admit. We had no water, and you can see the water fluctuation I was referring to earlier. We get some water through, but there is not enough to power anything really. You get a little bit of power and then it will stop and the water will recede and then come back again. A bit of recession from the water, and then we get another flow through, and then it will do it again, and it will just pulsate like that. And because we do not really have enough time between droughts to get too much done, which was another eye-opener for me, I must admit. First time playing the hard mode. Yes, we need to rethink. So another learning curve, and in series 3 we'll choose a different map, and we'll really have a good look at where we're starting, if we can move our district centre. Once you build one, it will become district 2, and if you all see district 3, so we've already, this was district 2, district 1 has been removed, and we already have another drought on its way, and our kit has not even gone up yet to plant any food for itself. So I am foreseeing devastation in this poor guy's future, all by his lonesome. I don't really hold any hopes of resurrecting this settlement. We have gone the way of the ancient human. I will let this play out, just to see what happens. I haven't been in this situation yet, so it will be interesting. It's taking a number of days to actually grow up. You see the water there has just left from behind the dam. So that is, water flow is definitely a concern, a larger concern, and well, realistically it's something I should have thought of. We learnt that already. It's very easy to make small mistakes that are very costly, which is a little bit like life in general, I guess. That does happen. There we go. Died of hunger before even becoming an adult. So we will leave series 2 there, and no doubt all of you will be screaming at me as to what I did wrong and how much of an idiot I am, which is fine. We are learning as we go. Alright, second attempt at this game. First one very successful. The second one completely the opposite. Alright, we'll start series 3 and see how we get on.